10 real SQL interview questions from a Quest2Offer mock. Pause on each one, think how you'd answer, then I'll show you how. Let's go. Walk me through the difference between inner, left, right, and full joins. An inner join returns only rows that match in both tables. A left join keeps every row from the left table and fills nulls where the right has no match. A right join does the mirror image. A full join keeps unmatched rows from both sides, so inner shrinks to the intersection while outer joins preserve rows you'd otherwise lose. When do you use where versus having, and how does group by fit in? Where filters individual rows before grouping. Having filters groups after aggregation, so you can't put an aggregate like count in where. That belongs in having. The order is where narrows rows, group by collapses them. Having trims the resulting groups. For performance, push everything you can into where so you aggregate less data. How do indexes speed up queries, and what do they cost you? An index is a sorted structure, usually a B tree, that lets the engine seek instead of scanning the whole table, turning a filter, or join into a logarithmic lookup. The cost is writes. Every insert, update, and delete must maintain the index, plus it consumes storage. So you index columns in where, join, and order by clauses. Not every column. What are window functions, and when would you reach for one? Window functions compute across a set of rows related to the current row without collapsing them like group by do's. You keep every row and add a calculated column. Use row, number, rank, or lag over a partition by and order by for things like running totals, rankings within a group, or comparing each row to the previous one. They're the clean way to do per group analytics. ZTE or subquery, when does it matter which you choose? Functionally, they're often equivalent, though in some engines like older Postgres, a CTE is a materialization fence and won't optimize like an inline subquery. And the main difference is readability and reuse. A CTE, the with clause, names a result set you can reference multiple times and read top to bottom, which beats deeply nested subqueries. CTEs also enable recursion for hierarchies. A correlated subquery, though, runs per outer row and can be slow, so I'd rewrite it as a join or CTE. Quick pause. These are real questions from Quest2Offer's AI mock interview. Pick your target role and level, answer out loud or in writing, and get a breakdown of exactly where you'd get cut. It's free to try at Quest2Offer.ai. Now, back to the questions. Normalization versus denormalization. How do you decide? Normalization splits data into related tables to eliminate redundancy and update anomalies. It's the default for transactional, write-heavy systems. Denormalization deliberately duplicates data to cut joins and speed up reads, which suits analytics and reporting. The trade-off is integrity versus read speed. As a senior, I normalize the source of truth, then denormalize in a warehouse or materialized view for queries. A query is slow in production. How do you find and fix the problem? I start with explain or explain analyze to read the query plan and find the expensive step, usually a full table scan, a bad join order, or a spill to disk. Common fixes are adding or correcting an index, rewriting the query to be sargable so indexes apply, and reducing rows early. Then I confirm with updated statistics and rerun the plan. Explain the difference between a primary key and a foreign key. A primary key uniquely identifies each row in a table. It's unique, not null, and there's only one per table. A foreign key is a column that references a primary key in another table, enforcing referential integrity so you can't point to a row that doesn't exist. Primary keys define identity. Foreign keys define relationships between tables. What's the difference between union and union all? Both stack result sets that have matching columns. Union removes duplicate rows, which forces a sort or hash to dedupe. That's extra work. Union all keeps everything, including duplicates, so it's faster. If you know the sets don't overlap or you don't care about duplicates, always use union all to avoid that hidden cost. How do you find and remove duplicate rows from a table? Do find them, group by the columns that define a duplicate and filter having count greater than 1. To delete, I use a window function, row number over a partition by those columns, then delete every row where the number is greater than 1. That keeps one copy per group. I always run it as a select first to confirm before deleting. That's all 10. How many did you get? Tell me in the comments and like, subscribe, and try a real mock interview at Quest2Offer.ai. Good luck out there.